The Skoda Superb is known as one of the best price performance estates or sedans. Is it still the case here in the all-new generation? And how does it rate against the all-new Volkswagen Passat? We're going to find out here with Thomas and Gefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the Skoda Superb Combi and also the Skoda Superb hatchback, fastback, sedan, however you want to call it, because it has the sedan shape. At the same time, it also has this fastback opening to be very versatile. We'll go through both versions and all the changes. First of all, one of the most obvious changes is that both versions are better in the drag coefficients. So they are standing less against the wind, also less fuel consumption, especially on the motorway. The Combi here at 0.25, the sedan now here at 0.23. So if you argue at home and you want to go for the sedan, you can say, hey, let's go here for the fastback sedan because maybe it looks cooler, but it's also more efficient. Yeah, that might be something, right? Here in the front, you can see new headlamps, optional matrix LED, and everything is really integrated as for the design. Also here in the lower parts, so a sleeker look for both models. This color here, by the way, is called Iced Tea Yellow. It's a very nice color choice as for the naming, right? And also very unique for the styling. And this one here is graphite gray, the more conservative choice if you want. Turning indicators here in the front looks really cool, replaces the whole daytime running light. Also really three-dimensional when you look inside this housing here. And for the rear, that's practical. I have two cars on location, right? Here in the rear, you can see if you have the matrix LED, then there's also this cascading turning indicator light in the rear. The length here at 4 meters 90 or 193 inches, that's just 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches longer than before. Wheelbase stays the same and also sharing the wheelbase with the new generation of the Volkswagen Passat. By the way, here the Combi is exactly 490. The sedan or fastback is 491, so 1 centimeter difference, but just the overhang from the spoiler actually. So yeah, just a small design thing, not a real length difference. Wheels, actually 16 to maximum 19 inch, and these are the biggest wheels in both cases here with the Combi and with the fastback. You just see once again a very fluent design language already here for the Combi, stays more upright, whereas then the hatchback has this falling style. But I think it's both actually quite working well as for the design. Which one would be your favorite? Tell me in the comments. In the rear, there's now a huge Skoda lettering all the way across the rear. And of course, once again, the difference between the Estate and the hatchback version. Technology-wise, there's now the optional DCC Plus, they call it. At Volkswagen, they call it DCC Pro. That is the upgraded adaptive suspension now with a 2-valve system, and you can actively also switch the driving modes, and then the suspension gets stiffer or more comfortable, and also rules between this spectrum. Of course, later on in our driving test, we'll test also the adaptive suspension for you and if this is a significant upgrade. Let's check out the lower part here, a very clean look, and I see no fake exhaust. Here in this graphite gray sedan, by the way, I think you can even better see the new lines on the hood. They also serve aerodynamic purposes and also direct the air. That's very beautifully done, I think, where you have an example of design and function at the very same time. Key fob, high gloss black. Nah, I don't like it that much. They shared it with the VW Passat. Then the door closing sound. That's nice, really solid, gives you a good feeling also as for the panel gaps and so on. Inside of the doors, here soft touch and also with this nice structure. Also here, like this wooden style inlet. Well, then the brown animal skin, or here doors, it's leather red, you can argue about that, of course. The inside of the door pockets is also covered with felt. Only lower part is hard pack. Then you have this Superb entry badge and the new Ergo seats, also has a logo here. However, these seats are also available in black or gray fabric in the lower or middle trims, and you could also get a microfiber in the lounge trim. This one here, as I said, the optional animal skin. Sadly, they don't have any alternatives for the higher trims or for the highest trims. Steering wheel still with real buttons. Here also to roll, for example. This is then this open spoke design. And let's get inside. As for the comfort, the seat ergonomics itself is actually pretty decent, and with 189 or 6'2", you still have a lot of headroom. So even though it's really aerodynamic, there's no compromise that it would be too flat or something. My favorite feature in this new interior, the air vents, look at that. They already begin here at the side, and they kind of resemble the front grille, and they do that then here in this air vent style. So that's, I think, a lovely idea. And here, also clicking sounds when you open or close them. And look at that here on the right side, passenger side, more of this front grille elements. At least I see front grille of that in there, or what do you see? Tell me in the comments. Then this middle console here is really interesting as well. At the moment, everything is closed. Then you open this in this split way. Cup holders are adaptive. Here inside the cup holders, you also have these dots. And then when you think about, you have these PET bottles where you put them in, then you can open them with one hand actually. In the front, you have two USB-C chargers. In the front, they are 15 watt. And there's an inductive charging pad, which is now also cooled. Last but not least, this split armrest also gives you some premium feeling. They try to be a little bit more upmarket now. And then underneath we have more space, actually decent space. And have you seen this here already? Maybe from the Kodiaq review. Pull it out. This is the Skoda screen wiper. Here you spray it here on the screen. And then you can take these microfiber sides and wipe the screen. Best, of course, when the screen is off, because otherwise you swipe away also all the content. In the interior, let's start with a clever feature. Here in the infotainment system, I select different functions, up to 4 maximum, for this central lower dial. And then I can, for example, have the air volume in here. I click once, then I go to the volume, I click another time, then I'm in the driving profile for the driving modes, and one more time for the map zoom. But if that's too much for me, I just select one actually and just have the volume in the middle part. I think a very clever and adaptable feature. And the left and the right part, this is basically fixed or set. This is then here the temperature, and I like to still have that, also this metal knurling around. And then I press one more time, and then it's the seat heating if I have that option in the vehicle, and the seat cooling here, for example. So this always stays like the outer ones, and the middle one is the adaptive one. But overall, nice design-wise. Then this knurling around, this galvanization, I think great to still have that. And the overview here, a very nice and central design here, and also this layer then once again. Then the vertical elements, structured and soft touch dashboard also. So it does have a premium atmosphere, and I think it does look more premium than the Volkswagen Passat in the new generation. Or what do you think? Screen here is either 10-inch or 13-inch, as we see right here. There the Passat has. This one is a smaller one, and the 15-inch is a bigger one. Then in the infotainment system, this is then the car internal GPS. They have also now upgraded the software, that it's quicker. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto will also be available, of course, as the connection. If you swipe down here, you also have some more hotkey functions. So overall, it doesn't seem to be as laggy as before, because the recent Skoda models also had that problem from the whole Volkswagen AG, that the server was too slow. But now it seems to have improved. Digital instruments are also somewhat adaptive. You can change the different modes, also, for example, to this map mode. And of course, good to still have these real dials at the steering wheel. And you also get a head-up display. This is a real one that is projected in the windscreen. This here is a roof you can actually also open, a very wide opening. And then you close it actually with these sliders. Slider control is not that easy to use. Sometimes it fails, but it's quite okay. And you have separate sliders here for the roof and also for the shade you can apply then. Of course, it's good that we do have a shade when it's really, really hot outside. And there we go. And I think it's also nice that we have the bright headliner together also with the bright shade then here in this trim. Rear doors, first of all, there's this structure. You can hear it. So, soft touch as well. Good build quality. Then the manual shade. Then we have these inserts here, they are wood-alike, and also everything you touch and feel and see here felt on the inside of the rear doors. Just the lower part is hard-packed, but overall very good build quality here, also for the rear doors. I like to pay attention to that. And then, typical for the Superb, a lot of legroom, even though if a tall driver is driving. Headroom, first of all here in the Estate or Combi, still something left with 189 or 6'2", and we have these special headrest trains here. Here, look at that. With these horns you can fold out, and then we have, you know, this typical sleeping thing. Yeah, Leah nods behind the camera, and then you have this, and then you wake up and everything is like, oh, my neck's hurting. Here you have this one, and when you then fall asleep, you're just leaning to the side and everything is fine. So yeah, that's I think a great idea. We know it from Skoda before. They have put it in this generation as well. Then you have this split here in the rear back. Overall, a nice and comfortable seating position in the rear. In the middle, you have this typical middle tunnel. You sit relatively okay. It does suit no problem for 5 tall adults. Then let's fold down this here. And then you have cup holders. They are somewhat adaptive. And you have this kind of smartphone or tablet holder here. And then you have a rear climate unit, even with seat heating. That's an option. And rear USB-C chargers. And they are really powerful, 45 watt. Headroom comparison here for the sedan. You can see I can still easily sit here with 189 or 6'2". I still have some space over my head, but you do feel that the roof is falling down here a little bit. That is then a thing when you're even taller than me, then it needs to be the Combi in the rear. But for most purposes, the sedan is also just fine. Let's check out the trunk or the boot here for the Combi. 30 liters more than before, now at 690 liters, very well accessible. And have you seen that? Here, this top cover here, you do not have to fold it up and down manually. This one here, alongside with the rail, if I close again, you can already see it right here. There it is. So it closes automatically, and when I open the trunk, you cannot see it for real because it's all darked out. Here's a tinted rear window. Here, I can open it, and then it goes back again. This is here an additional splitter. You can put things up there, but you can also just easily remove it. You don't have to go for it. Then you have the towing hook. Can be extracted like this. Is I would say like semi-automatic, like this. And like this. Underneath, space for a spare tire, for example. And then here, the width is 1 meter or 40 inches. The length, even better, 115 or 45 inches. And we can also fold the seats from here, like this, and they fold flat very easily. Maybe we need to push on the middle part a little bit more. And then to the front seat, as I would be driving, yeah, is a good 2 meters or 78 inches. Also here, the fastback has gained 20 liters of trunk capacity, 645 liters now. But to me, the interesting thing is, yes, you might lose something in the height here, but still it's super well accessible. The width is the same, 1 meter or 40 inches, but the length here inside is actually even a little bit longer here, almost like 120, a little bit less than 120 or in meters or 47 inches. So I think there's hardly any compromise. This, by the way, also interesting here, this side pack here, where you can maybe have some like emergency equipment or so. On the other side, by the way, this is here, this Skoda blanket. It's like a blanket in this housing here. So yeah, I just love this. How do you call it actually? So I really like to call it fastback actually. I think in the UK market they always call it hatch. Yeah, outside sedan, whatever, but I really prefer it because the looks together with this practical feature. About the engines, some upgrades. First of all, this one is the 1.5 mild hybrid TSI turbo petrol engine. Then there's the stronger, the 2-liter TSI, all 4 cylinders. And there's also still a 2-liter TDI. The exact engine spec you will read in the pinned comment or in the video description. The top spec petrol and diesel also get an all-wheel drive option. However, it is still a front-wheel based platform, so it will always be then front plus rear on demand. Biggest news is with the plug-in hybrid version, based also on the 1.5 petrol engine. That one now gets a bigger battery, so around 20 kWh net. The 26 kWh figure that you read somewhere is the gross figure actually, so you have quite a large buffer. That one now with a realistic range of 80 kilometers or 50 miles pure electric, and also quicker fast charging, 50 kilowatt, and also quicker slow charging at 11 kilowatt.